Welcome to Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz. I am joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck. And today we are going through all of the games after week 8. We are halfway through the season. DK, I think that's a little surreal. Don't you feel?
It's absolutely flown by. It's already, it feels like it's almost the holidays now, which is just wild. So yeah, the season's going by.
Well,
really
it is a
quickly.
holiday. It's National Tight Ends Day.
Dude, how many
Merry
times were they
National
gonna say
Tight Ends
that?
Day to each of you. I know you guys celebrate.
I know. I wanted to do the LeBron meme. Remember that meme of LeBron where he sits down with the two women and he's like, first and foremost, happy National Women's Day. You can like read his lips doing that and both the women go, thank you. I wanted to do that to start today's show, but Heifetz beat me to it.
Oh.
But yeah, happy Tight Ends Day.
Did you see tight ends caught more passes today than any other day in NFL history? What the hell?
Do you guys know how long we've been celebrating Tight Ends Day?
5 years?
I don't know.
Yeah, 2018. So I guess maybe 6. But yeah.
So I didn't want to talk about this till later, but I guess it's just been shoved down our throat to the point. What's the point of all this?
Big
I
tight
don't
end.
get the end game. I get inventing other fake holidays. Like I get Mother's Day or Father's Day or Valentine. They're all to make you buy shit. What is the end game of the national tight ends? Why are they pushing this?
Advertising. It's how advertising works. Awareness of tight ends. That's all
What's
they
the
want.
advertising? What's the product?
They want more money.
Who?
The tight ends.
Who
They wanna
gets
be
how do
more
the tight ends
appreciated.
get any money from this?
They don't get that much money relative to most positions.
I don't think
They need to raise awareness of tight ends and appreciation of tight ends. I don't know. I'm making it up. Maybe that's not why that was invented.
I have no idea why. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Maybe it's honestly just feels like the NFL just branding more shit and having more reasons to talk about something. You know what I mean? And now
boy,
it's
did
another
they talk
day
about
we
it.
can talk. It's another visual graphic they can put up on the screen.
It's like the 4th Sunday of October, like it's freaking Thanksgiving, and they're like, Roger Goodell's office. He's like, what can we beat the World Series with? Tight ends. The tight end holiday will be bigger than the World Series. I don't understand. The whole thing's really weird.
Well, it works. George Kittle was incredible tonight.
It's true. George Kittle loved it. So the Cowboys lost to the Niners. The Niners almost 30-24. The Niners beat Dallas. The game was way closer than it should have been at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one of those blowouts that actually became like almost dangerous.
It was like 3 different games. First half was a slog. I didn't know who was going to win. Then the third quarter, the Niners scored 21-0. And the game was over. And then the fourth quarter, Dallas came fighting back, and CeeDee Lamb like doubled his fantasy points over the course of like 5 minutes.
Like absolutely wide open touchdowns.
It's always funny when the best player on a team by far is wide open. That never gets old.
CeeDee Lamb went from having like a mediocre day to being the number 1 fantasy receiver on the
He had
week.
like 40-something points. 13 catches, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. Both of those touchdowns, like I said, I don't know if there was a guy within 20 yards of him. It was bizarre.
That was like the perfect encapsulation of like ideal fantasy garbage time. That is exactly how you envision it. They're like down 17 just enough to where you can't give up. You got to stay motivated, but the defense is also up enough where they can kind of ease off, you know?
We were texting about whether we should start the show early and if Dak Prescott should be in the burn book. And then all of a sudden the Cowboys were like, maybe we could win the game. So I don't know. Dallas, it is what it is. I mean, I do want to just note that they had 3 penalties on kickoffs in this game, including I know this wasn't the sexiest play of the game, but the reverse pass on the kickoff that was throwing the ball forward. I was kind of fascinated by that because one, having 3 penalties on kickoffs when they have like the kickoff guy, like they're Bones Fossil, whatever the special teams coordinator for the Cowboys. He's the guy who like pushed this on the NFL side. How are they have 3 penalties on the kickoffs? I don't know. I just think it's weirdly emblematic of how Dallas is like the least attention to detail team in the entire league. Like Rico Dowdle gets freaking food poisoning or whatever on the way to the game. So they're actually depending on Dalvin Cook because Jerry Jones, I think actually can't remember anything that's happened in the last 4 years. And so the Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb looked like they hadn't met until the fourth quarter. Like the whole team is just like bizarre.
It's extremely weird. And then also like in the very last possession when the Cowboys were like actually threatening to potentially, tie the game or win the game, late there, Dak just started like hucking up deep balls and like the key 3rd and 10 or 4th and 10 or whatever it was. I think it was 3rd and 10. He just hucked a go ball to Devante Turpin of all people. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I mean, Turpin.
The disdain in which you enunciated Turpin.
Yeah, no, you made that
Turpin.
sound. You know, so also funny. You really
should have
just
caught
made
it for the record. It went off his face mask. What'd you say?
Devante Turpin.
Turpin. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're absolutely right, though. This is just a weird team. The fact that they're relying on Zeke Elliott and Dalvin Cook like 4 years after their prime as like their main running backs right now. They don't have a real solid number 2 at this point. CeeDee Lamb is the only, big time playmaker. I think now in the NFL, you guys can correct me if you don't think this is true, but you need at least 2 like big time playmakers if you're going to be a good offense.
Yeah, the perfect example is every time T. Higgins misses a game, the Bengals get killed. They're 0-3 without T. Higgins.
Right.
I got to say, though, if we switch gears, I thought Purdy was awesome tonight. It was a mess, mainly on the Cowboys side. Dak looked terrible. Purdy looked fine, but the second half, Purdy really turned it on. He had over 50 yards rushing, 250 yards. I mean, once again, Purdy is just like a little... We were texting about him, and DK said, like, shifty little fucker? What did you call him?
I think I said, what did I say? Yeah, it was like sneaky little fucker or something like that. Because I think it was that one run where he like pretended he was going to pass it out, and then he just like took off running really fast, and like the whole defense just opened up, and he got like a first down. Yeah, he scampers. That's a great way to put it. He can scoot. I keep coming back to when he pointed out that he had a faster 10-yard split than McCaffrey
CMC. And Deebo Samuel, which I
can't unsee that. It's the opposite of an ick. Whatever the opposite of an ick is, I'm just like, oh wow,
it's
an erection. An erection, I think. Is it? Yeah.
I still think that I still feel like I need the entire concept of athleticism re-explained to me.
He's the least athletic looking person I've ever seen.
Brock Purdy's faster than Deebo Samuel through 10 yards.
He is not the least athletic person.
No, well, least athletic.
He does not look like an NFL player though, when you see him.
Brock Purdy?
Just if you look at his face, you're like, this guy's super athletic. You would
think I guess face alone, I still think like, I don't know, Eli Manning.
Well, okay, fine. I probably was exaggerating
Eli's
just
like
a little,
6'5", though. Brock Purdy is 6'1",
he's talking about
220.
just his face, he said.
Eli Manning is a good example.
I know, but Brock Purdy's 6'1", 220. Like, he doesn't, like, if you saw Brock Purdy in person, you're also not like NFL player.
I don't know. He just has like a baby
face.
He's
a boyish
face.
Yeah,
he doesn't look like he would be a good athlete.
He looks like his childhood clothes could still fit him. But no, so I mean, Brock Purdy's making $950,000 this year. Dak Prescott makes about $890,000 per quarter. Per quarter. Dak Prescott makes almost Brock Purdy's yearly salary every quarter he plays.
Dude, that's
and when we were talking about Dak's contract this year, I described the whole Dak Prescott Cowboys thing as a potential catastrophe because Dallas could let Dak walk into free agency. And a very smart person that I know texted me to remind me during the game that I had said that. And basically asked if I felt stupid for saying, because basically you're watching this team and you're like, man, maybe Dallas did need Dak Prescott. I know that's like a bombastic thing to say, but there are times where you watch the Cowboys tonight and you look at like, there's such a ceiling on this team. I don't think it's fair to put it on Dak. And also obviously like they should have traded him probably before the draft. I'm not saying they should have let him go to free agency, but I think it's probably unfair to put this team on Dak instead of Jerry Jones. But there are so many moments. I don't know what about playing the Niners breaks Dak Prescott's brain, but the interceptions he threw tonight, and also Fred Warner just dropped that pick that he just threw directly to Fred Warner at the end of the game. I don't know, something about Dak, but it's weird because I agree, Craig. Brock Purdy just played so much better from start to finish, with the exception of the garbage time.
Yeah. Dak is one of the best quarterbacks in the league who will just throw an absolute back-breaking pick to no receiver.
Yeah, he hits the wrong button on the controller a lot.
Absolutely no one, and then Dak throws a receiver.
It's insane. All right, let's get to winners and losers of the day. I mean, there's not much to talk about here. The winner of the day is Jayden Daniels and the Washington Commanders.
This team is magical. The team of destiny. I don't know what... I think I've said this like 6 or 7 times on this podcast. What the hell is going on with the Commanders this year? They're just so good. They're unkillable.
So Washington, with number 2 pick Jayden Daniels, plays the Bears, the number 1 pick that went to the Chicago Bears. I mean, first of all, Washington was better than the Bears like the whole game. Mm-hmm. And then somehow the Bears end up almost by accident taking the lead in the final minute. Washington hits a Hail Mary to win 18-15. Best play of the season. One of the best plays I've ever seen. I was going to say, like, what was your guys' first reaction? But it was just, holy shit, what the fuck?
Do you mean best play like it was an incredible play or just like an exciting play?
It wasn't like skillful. I'm just saying it was like a moment.
That's what I was
because remember the Hail Mary a few weeks ago that Rodgers threw, I felt like that was a more impressive Hail Mary in terms of, I think, who was it, Lazard who came down with it? Mm-hmm. That was like, oh my God, he caught it. He like 3 flies up it with 7 people. This was like a classic, like cartoon like dinks off 7 dudes right into his hands.
Right.
Like a Rube Goldberg.
Yeah. This was the first game since 1977 where each team scored a go-ahead touchdown in the final 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
1977?
Really? Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, because this was a wild game. I actually thought Caleb Williams, like, after playing an absolutely atrocious game for, like, the vast majority of the game, he came out and in the fourth quarter, he made some incredible plays and he brought them down and he led them to what should have been a W. But, I don't know what it is about this Commanders team. They just seem to have that magic. Like I said, this play was crazy. I want to talk about Tyreek Stevenson in a minute here when we're done talking about the Commanders. But I don't know. There is something about Jayden Daniels and the Commanders that is just special this year. For whatever reason, they have like, you guys say this. I haven't heard this expression until like a month ago, and now I've heard it like 30 times. They have a horseshoe up their ass or whatever. What is that expression? I hadn't heard that until like a month ago. And then
honestly, I think Bill says it a lot. I think that's where I first heard it. Is Bill would say that.
Well, I don't remember hearing it until like a month ago. Now it's like the Bader Meinhof thing. It's like now I hear it all the time.
But it's just the sappy earnestness about sports. It's just, again, I live in Washington, D.C., and I'm a Giants fan, but it is impossible not to notice like the wave of fandom that has been like resuscitated around. I don't know. It really is. It's like the Wizard of Oz. It's like the whole thing was in black and white. And now it's like in color. It's unbelievable.
Dan Snyder's
I guess
gone.
it's the other way around.
It's like once he's gone, it's lifted. The cloak is lifted. Yeah,
and like Lord of the Rings. It's just, you know what I mean? They're like, I banish you.
Yeah.
That was from the
he
two
like
buildings.
hits him with his staff.
Yeah, it's just like, and it's just like everything's amazing now. And like the video, I actually thought there were so many edits of the thing and so many videos, but the one that I loved was there was a video of 4 dudes, like 20 something bros, walking out of the stadium, and they all had Jayden Daniels jerseys on that were brand new, and they had tags sticking out. And I'm like, that is the experience, though. Like, this has become like a show with Washington. It is unbelievable. We're gonna have to name this play at some point. Kyle Brandt suggested the Noah's Ark because it was Noah Brown who caught the pass. I think Noah's Ark's not that bad.
We can work with that.
Having said that,
we'll brainstorm. I'll think about that.
We have to talk about Tyreek Stevenson, aka number 29 on the Chicago Bears.
This is like an all-time terrible moment for any defender. First of all, okay, if you hadn't seen the video, there's a video from the like end zone area of the stand. Some fan took on their phone.
This is unbelievable.
Stevenson,
I've never seen someone do this.
Okay, Tyreek Stevenson is like walking down the field, like talking shit to the stadium, talking shit to the fans in the end zone area, like while the play is going. It took him like 5 seconds to realize the play because
he's playing in the game.
Like Jayden Daniels walked around or kind of like ran around a little bit for a few seconds, maybe like 4 or 5 seconds before he chucked this thing downfield. So Tyreek Stevenson for like, I don't know, literally a solid 2 to 3 seconds while the play is happening is just jawing at the fans, like not paying attention
with his back to
whatsoever.
The play.
And then he finally notices, and by the way, you can see like Bears fans like in the end zone pointing to the fucking field like, hey man, a play is happening. And then he turns around and
you know what's funny is if they didn't do that, they might have won the game.
I know, right?
Like if he just kept taunting them, they might have won the game.
I mean, maybe it was Washington fans who were just like trying to talk shit back to him. I don't know who they were, but they were all pointing like, hey man, you're missing.
No, there were Bears fans like screaming at him to turn around.
So anyways, he turns around and runs over and goes to like knock the ball down. There's like 6 or 7 guys all going up for this jump ball. And he did the Mark Andrews thing. He volleyball set it up perfectly for a wide open Noah Brown to catch it, for it to settle into his hands like a falling leaf, like so easily.
Settle.
Like it was the worst play I've ever seen in my life. Like maybe the worst play I've ever seen. Tyreek Stevenson goes from not paying attention to volleyball setting the ball up perfectly so the guy could catch it for the winning touchdown.
You know, it's funny that we haven't quite figured out Hail Marys because this is not the first time this happens. Like this happens, right? Everybody jumps up, it hits everyone's hand, it pops to the one guy standing behind the group. Shouts out our buddy Jackson Bevins, but he always tweets about that teams should be blitzing on a Hail Mary. Send 4, 5, 6 guys or something, and you won't even have enough time for the receivers to get to the end zone. Rather than Jayden Daniels gets 6 seconds to just cruise around back there and pick his perfect spot. Would you guys agree with that? I don't know. Maybe it's been tried and it doesn't work, but I feel like it's worth it.
Yeah. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but like the most anticlimactic Hail Marys are when they just get sacked pretty quickly. It's like, don't even give them the opportunity to throw down. the field. And on that note, like the play before, they backed off so far that it gave Jayden Daniels like a wide open opportunity to pick up like 15 extra yards to make that Hail Mary easier. So it's like they're just so conservative and so like prevent defense or whatever that it actually ended up like really costing him. So I thought that whole sequence was like terrible by the Bears.
The blitzing 100%. That actually happened to Anthony Richardson today. They like put an extra second on the clock for no reason at the end of Texans Colts, and then they just sacked him. And he went left. It was a huge mistake. But no, they absolutely.
I think they only rushed 3 there though, and they just got to him. But yeah,
well, they just got to him. Yeah, he kind of screwed that up. But yeah, no, I agree. If you send 4 on a Hail Mary, that's usually enough. But we're letting Tyreek Stevenson off the hook here. We have to go back for a second.
Tyreek Stevenson, I wasn't. I said it was the worst play I've ever seen.
Well, no, but I think we should linger on that. Because that's not hyperbole and it's not living in the moment.
It's like all-time cocky shithead athlete move ever. No,
I think it really is the worst play I've ever seen. But in any sport. I mean, think about it.
They teach you to bat it down. Why is he batting it up in the air, dude?
That's not my problem. It's him shit-talking the fans.
Yeah, my problem was him yelling at fans during the field, then tipping a Hail Mary to lose a football game in a game between the 2 next stars at the NFL. That was such a big deal. They flexed it to a bigger primetime window because they thought the game was such a big deal.
And then they made Jayden Daniels. They made Jayden Daniels play in that game just for the ratings. I heard they gave him a secret injection into his ribs.
Yeah. Dude, I can't stress enough. What are the dumbest things any athlete's ever done with the mix of like how dumb it was, the shift in win probability, which is as big as you could possibly have on a play, is tipping a Hail Mary to another player. The stakes of everything involved. I know it's not a playoff game, so you take out a championship thing. It's every other box you could check. I don't want to be a dick. Tyreek Stevenson has already tweeted it out. Having said that, this will be his entire life will be defined. Like Tyreek Stevenson's entire life will be defined by this play, and it will be in the first 2 paragraphs of his obituary.
Jesus,
I don't know about that.
This is who he is forever.
I don't think it's
this
that
is who
high
he is.
Stakes. I mean, whatever, sure. I was like, my joke after the game was like, the Bears defense is going to code red this guy so hard. But then he apologized. Like he was a big man about it. He tweeted out an apology or whatever. Like maybe he won't. Like maybe he'll live this down eventually. But like, yeah, that was like a really, really, really tough look for him.
It was a very like measured and mature response he gave, and it kind of like I was kind of like I wish he just doubled down.
Dude, I know.
Yeah, Craig, you got the it because he ended up being too nice.
Yeah, that was like a really. Now it's like, oh, I feel bad now. You know.
You know what? I kind of wanted to meme it. Should I tell me if I should tweet this out? I kind of wanted to meme the play because I think the meme's going to be legendary of him yelling with everything going on behind you.
God,
he's like talking shit 3 seconds into the play.
And you know what's funny is he turns around and
not even before the play.
He notices the play is going on when he turns around, and he doesn't like deer in the headlights sprint. He kind of just like jogs to the middle of the end zone.
He meandered over.
Yeah.
I almost like, I agree, Craig. The casualness with which when he saw the play had been going on for quite some time almost makes me wonder if he kind of was aware. It's actually weird.
I know. On the flip side, let's say he intercepts this pass.
He wasn't.
If he intercepts this ball, is it like the most badass thing anyone's ever done?
No, because it's like you're not supposed to like win the Hail Mary. I think that it would come out later. We're like, wow, that was really cool.
It would. I don't know about badass. It would have been really funny if he would have caught.
Well,
that.
Both are funny. I don't.
It's badass, but like you're supposed to deflect a Hail Mary. It's like being left through a toll booth.
The Bears just can't have nice things, man.
DK, what you said about Washington, you're just like, this team has a horseshoe up its ass, or there's just something magical about this team. I really do feel like that. It just works out that way with certain players. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's like, I think Stroud had that last year where it's just like, things just worked out. It was like 3rd and 15s just worked out. And it's like an ineffable quality. And it happens with certain guys who are going to reach that echelon. And it's not like Caleb's not going to be good and you know, or anything like that. But Jayden Daniels has captured whatever that intangible thing is. And there's like, it only happens once every couple of years. And it's like shit like this just happens. And it's not something that's a statistic. You can't predict it. You can't measure it, but it just happens to guys like that.
It's like the guy that you hate because he has it all.
Yeah.
Right? And he's always so happy and like chill.
Dude.
Never looks like he's under any pressure. He just goes out there, hucks it up, wins a game.
Well, that's because he's got the Lord.
Broken ribs.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think that we should really start drafting more quarterbacks.
Maybe God really does love him more than us. Damn.
God hates the Bears.
I had that as an original winner. I was just like, God? And that's the difference is like when Aaron Rodgers did the Hail Mary, they lost that game.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like God didn't actually answer anything for them. So
maybe God does.
It's kind of like
Jayden
this
Daniels.
is the end where like Rodgers was like getting pulled up. He's like, suck you, big bro.
He's like flipping the bird.
Suck my, and then they just drop him out. They're like, you ruined it.
I mean, to be honest, that's basically what's his name was doing. Tyreek Stevenson.
Tyreek Stevenson.
Yeah, so good.
Fuck you.
Oh my God.
Dude, yeah.
Dude, he actually was, Craig. That's so funny.
Wait, we gotta make that edit. We
pulled
gotta
up
make
into
the
the
Tyreek
beam.
Stevenson getting his fuck.
Suck my. Oh no.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Wait, no, pull me up. Yeah, no. Oh my God. All right. Anything else at Bears at Washington? That was crazy.
Wild game.
Okay. My other loser for the day, other than Tyreek Stevenson. Dude, Aaron Rodgers, speaking of the devil, Aaron Rodgers, Jets lost to the Patriots today, 25-22. They lost even though Drake May left mid-game to concussion.
Not even mid-game.
Mid-game, he had like 3 passes.
First quarter.
Sorry, like a mid first drive, basically. Jets fall to 2-6, which is the same record as the Patriots. I enjoyed the memes that the Patriots have their lowest expectations for a team in the entire lowest expectations for a Patriots season in 25 years. And they have the same record as the Jets with like the highest expectations for a Jets season in 25 years. So that was incredible. Jets have lost 5 games in a row. And I know I'm between this and the Tyreek Stevenson thing, I'm kind of on one. But again, not only is this Jets team the biggest disappointment and failure for a Jets season ever, I think this is actually on the shortest of short lists for the most disappointing failures any team has had in my entire lifetime. And I think it's up there with the Steve Nash, Dwight Howard Lakers. I think it's up there with both iterations of the Nets when they had like Durant and Harden and Kyrie, or before that Garnett and Pierce. Any pathetic failure of a season you want to pick, I think that this Jets Aaron Rodgers experiment will go down right with all of them.
Firing your coach when you didn't need to fire him, and then trading for a receiver that you didn't need to trade for, and then losing the next 2 games after that is just about as low as you can
Craig,
get.
did you see this tweet from Football Perspective? The Jets scored 20 plus points, committed 0 turnovers, and held their opponent to under 250 yards of offense from 1940 until yesterday. So essentially, like, since Cloyce Box was running around until today, teams were 756-0 when they hit those benchmarks, and the Jets lost to the Patriots today.
756-0.
They had 20 plus points, no turnovers, and held the Patriots to less than 250 yards of offense, and they lost.
That's disgusting.
Finding new ways. I feel like I'm just kind of numb to the Jets being bad. Like at this point, you expect it. I know that Jets fans are probably in that boat too, but so it doesn't like register to me as much as it's registering with Heifetz in terms of like, this is really disappointing. I'm just more like, haha, Jets. But
dude, the Jets were 7.5-point favorites today. Who would the Jets beat?
The Panthers. The Panthers are the worst team in the league. But that's it. I think that's the thing.
Asked that question was funny.
Who would the Jets beat? Like the Jets should be underdogs to literally 30 teams in the NFL.
Is that? I know. I think I agree with you. Like, I don't know who they'd have to play where I'm like, oh, that's easy.
We just have to. DK, I know you're numb. Let me see if any of these like cut through.
I mean, yeah.
First of all, they ran out of timeouts in the first quarter because shout out Joe Caparosa. I've never seen that in my entire life. They're running out of time into the first quarter.
They kept having delay of games.
It's because Aaron Rodgers was like running the clock down too much, trying to get players set and stuff.
Joe Caparosa, Turn on the Jets, theorized this. I think he's dead on. I think Aaron Rodgers was shaking off the play calls like a pitcher. Like he was shaking off the plays, and it just kept wasting the fucking time.
Yeah.
So they had all these delay games. They took a delay of game and a 2-point conversion, which, like, again, after wasting 3 timeouts, like the whole thing is like, again, this is 3 timeouts in the first quarter is fucking crazy.
This is like hindsight analysis, I know, but like, do you remember when Aaron Rodgers went to Egypt and skipped out on mandatory like training camp stuff, and everyone was like, "It's fine, he's a veteran." none of this shit matters. Like, don't worry about it.
He knew he wasn't going to listen to those plays anyway. He was like, I'm just going to call my own shit. Why do I need to go to training camp?
I'm just like, he probably could have used a few more practices to get everybody on the same fucking page.
Dude, he's like cooking every meal from scratch, and he doesn't need to be doing that. Like, he shows up and he's like, I'm going to build every play from the bottom up, and I have 30 seconds.
It's actually wild. Yeah,
it's like every time I try and help like my dad with a project, he just does it all, and I'm like, I'll hang out back here. I mean, and I'm not saying that like he's like my dad's in the wrong, but like he just has his way of doing things, and I don't know how to do any of the stuff he's doing, so I just kind of like hang out and talk to him.
And that's why it's so annoying when you're planning the project that your dad goes to Egypt to check out who really built the pyramids. People are aliens. And you're like, damn, Dad, I really wish I had known ahead what you were going to do.
You know, when you're like playing pickup basketball and there's like one guy who's trying to draw up like an out of bounds play, and you're like, hey, man, let's just play the game. It feels like Aaron on every single play is like on the back of his hand, like giving everybody a route to run. And you're going to turn on step 4 to the left. It's ridiculous.
I think this tarnished Rodgers' legacy in a way that actually more so than the Brett Favre Jets season did, like by a lot. I actually think we're going to look at Rodgers
how you're
very
talking
differently.
In the past tense. It tarnished his legacy.
It's tarnishing. We're mid-tarnish. I mean, look at this. First of all,
tarnishing.
You couldn't script this. Jeff Ulbrich, the new Jets head coach, said after the game, he called the loss a moment of darkness. And then the most perfect thing ever, Aaron Rodgers.
A retreat of darkness.
Yes, a retreat of darkness.
A darkness retreat, if you will.
Was told that Ulbrich said this, and Rodgers literally deadpanned and said, I've been in the darkness. You got to go in there and make peace with it.
Okay.
Kind of a bar.
This fucking
Got to give him
guy.
a small win. Small win. Legacy unttarnished. No.
It would be a bar if under different circumstances, I feel like.
Look, they're playing Thursday night against the Texans, which is hilarious. Elite Costanza.
Craig, who's your other winner from today?
I think we have to give it up for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. They beat the hell out of the Bengals 37-17. They had 7 possessions, turned those into 4 touchdowns, 2 field goals, and a punt. I thought Hurts was great. This was the best Hurts game of the season. He's had no turnovers over the last 3 weeks. I thought, he doesn't throw over the middle usually. He did that a ton today. I just thought everything was working. This was an impressive win. We on Thursday, or on the Friday show, we were talking about how this was a pivotal game for both these teams. Like whoever loses this game was going to kind of slink back into like an out of playoffs territory, and the winner was going to kind of like, okay, they're officially in this thing. The Eagles are now 5-2. And the defenses look great. I just think it actually seems like the vibes are starting to turn. It's funny when I can see how the more the Eagles win, like the stronger Sirianni gets, and like the more the players start to buy into his bullshit. Like this is what I was saying with Jalen Hurts, like the method acting thing, all of his corny ass quotes. Like it didn't work when they were losing, but you string a couple of wins together, and it starts to snowball, and you start to believe in it a little more. And now it feels like this team is like joking on the sidelines. Sirianni, the buzz cut's kind of looking cool now. And it feels like this team is slowly coming together.
The easiest thing in the world is to maintain culture while you're winning. I think, frankly, the Eagles were built to run all over a team like the Bengals who cannot stop the run. I think that like culture is when you're Mike Tomlin and the Steelers are sucking and he's like, all right, we're going to go out and like win 9 games anyway. I don't know. It's probably best for everyone who hates the Eagles for Sirianni to remain the coach because he's still a total jabroni clown. But yeah, they dominated today.
They've given up 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games.
Yeah, we probably should have let them have half that fucking Georgia defense, should we?
I'm not saying they're the best team in the league. I'm just saying, like, this is the first time. First time this year, I think Eagles fans are like, we might have something again. And I mean,
Joe Burrow was just like, we didn't finish 7-2. This is doable. Like that's literally what he said.
Get T. Higgins back.
The T. Higgins thing, so he had like a midweek quad injury
on Friday. Somebody ran into his leg, I guess.
God,
dude,
so brutal. It's weird that like a season. I know that it's like their season doesn't hinge on only Higgins, but like it kind of feels like it does.
They're 0-3 without him.
Yeah, if Higgins is in there, they're like unstoppable offense. Obviously, the defense has not been good, but man, as soon as they lose him, it's like, oh, now we got to throw to Gesicki. And Gesicki made some nice plays today, but I mean, it's just a different. Do
you guys is there a particular body part that gives you the ick when you hear about a player getting injured?
Turf toe.
Oh, for me, it's quad. When I read quad, I'm like, come on.
Like you should be able to play through a quad.
I've like hurt my toe before, and like you can't do anything if you have an injured toe. I'm like, dude,
I know, but it just says toe, and it's funny.
I know.
Did he just have a quad contusion?
I was going to say, but my quads, I'm like, yeah, it's like I can totally get how a quad is a problem.
I don't feel like I know what a pulled quad even feels like. I don't think I've ever pulled my quad before.
It was like it was like a bruised quad. I don't think they're normally pulled. I think it's hard to pull a quad. I think it's easier to bruise a quad because that's. Like
I will say,
running into
you get like a huge ass bruise and you can't move your leg.
NFL bruises have nothing in common with normal bruises. NFL bruises are car crash bruises.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like your entire leg is just red.
Do you have an injury where you're like, really?
Also quarterbacks when they get the little finger injury.
Really good question.
Mallet finger?
Mallet finger. Come on, bro. You're a fucking football player.
I'm just like midweek quad. I'm like, fucking play. Look, funny. I'm fully aware how I sound. All right, I'm sure it was bad.
Yeah. All right, Craig. Any other losers from this week other than all the losers who missed the games with the quad injuries?
I don't think we could move on from winners and losers without mentioning Anthony Richardson as a loser. I saw a tweet today from Brandon Carney. He's verified. I'm not sure who he is, but his tweet says...
Oh, yeah, verified. That means a lot.
His tweet says, I think he has like 17,000
I mean, look, I'm not saying anything bad about this individial person, but verified tells us exactly nothing.
No, there's so many bots that
take 60 seconds
now.
right now. Look at the camera and talk to Brandon.
No, go ahead.
Brandon tweeted, "Ooh, look at me. I'm Anthony Richardson. I either throw a 70-yard TD or shit my pants." Ooh. Like, that's exactly right. Sometimes I literally think Anthony Richardson might be like the worst quarterback in the league by a wide margin. Sometimes I'm like, he's worse than Will Levis. He finished the game 10 for 32 today.
It's like really, really tough.
Dude, I bet that's never happened. We should look that up. I bet that's a scoregami. I bet there's never been a quarterback who actually completed exactly 10 of 32 passes.
He was 2 for 15 at the half. He had 2 completions at the half. Austin Gale, our buddy at the Ringer, who has switched, now that Deshaun Watson's out for the year, I think he's set his sights out on Anthony Richardson stats.
He's put all the servers are running overtime looking up stats on Anthony.
The entire
Richardson.
cloud.
Yes, he's reprogrammed the space station to focus on Anthony Richardson now. And this is the stat he dropped today. Anthony Richardson ranks 222nd in completion rate among the 225 quarterbacks with however many dropbacks since the year 2000. So basically, of all the quarterbacks since the year 2000, he's the third worst in completion percentage.
You know who's right behind or right in front? I can't remember.
Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow, who's hilariously listed as a tight end.
Also, Mets outfielder.
You're like you have the same completion percentage as a tight end.
That gave me the ick.
Might be time to. No, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up.
But right. Having said that,
he also played amazing.
Yeah, it's like he's so bad. He is so bad sometimes, and yet he had an absolute dime to Downs, 2 dimes to Downs. Mm-hmm. He had an absolute beautiful ball to Tyler Goodson touchdown, went right through his hands. He had a touchdown to A.D. Mitchell that was barely out of bounds. So
Craig, somebody posted it's 1 whole minute of Anthony Richardson getting no help from his receivers, just like 1 full minute of drops by his receivers.
That's the thing. It's like it should have been 15 for 32.
He should have been 50%, not
400 yards,
20%.
But he just he doesn't do anything normally, and he's like a golden retriever a little bit because he's like he almost wants it too much. He's like trying so hard. Every time he gets sacked, he'll never go down. He will like throw a 400-pound man off him to keep going, and then throw a horrible pick.
He wants it too much, except for that one play he took himself out because he was tired.
Oh my God.
Which I don't think has ever happened at any level.
That was weird. I've literally never seen that before, I don't think.
No.
Have you guys ever seen a quarterback be like, I'm tired, I need to come out on 3rd down?
Maybe it's happened, but I've certainly never heard somebody admit it.
No, they would have the decency to lie about it.
You need to lie about these things. Say like, I don't know, my shoulder. I thought I fucked up my shoulder, and then I got to the sideline and it felt better.
It's like when Lamar shit his pants and pretended it was a cramp. Take that to the grave, dude.
But it is really weird because simultaneously I thought he had like the worst game I've ever seen, and also like he was pretty impressive at times too.
He's like Schrodinger's
and they almost won. It was like 23-20.
Schrodinger's quarterback.
It is true. Yeah, I don't know what to do with him.
Fuck
Josh Downs having a huge ass day. Like after I was basically like, okay, we could probably just drop Josh Downs.
And now I think
classic
I'm like,
fantasy.
now it's like Michael Pittman's like, I don't care for Michael Pittman anymore. and
Jonathan Taylor looked awesome though.
Oh, he's great. Most underrated running back in the league right now. But you want to know what's funny about this whole thing? Next week they play the Vikings.
Oh
my God.
That's going to be appointment television. That'll be number one on my
over under 7.5 completions.
I think the line should be a little higher. Maybe we should do this on Thursday, genuinely.
Yeah, that's actually, that's a good. Completions or points for the Colts? What's higher? Completions giving like 2. All right. Any other winners, losers, DK? Can't speak.
I just got one small one I want to get through really quickly here. It's the Lions for being at the apex mountain of complimentary football today, winning 52-14 over the Titans. At one point in the game, they had 49 points with 26 pass yards. Like they ended the game with 52 points. Obviously, they had a 90-yard punt return by Khalif Raymond. Their defense forced 4 turnovers, at least. I think I counted 4, 2 picks, 2 fumble recoveries, and their offense was absolutely unstoppable. Run game was dominant. Jahmyr Gibbs, absolutely electric, explosive. David Montgomery threw a touchdown pass. Basically, they just they've completed the circle of toughness. This is an expression that Pete Carroll used to use. Special teams, defense, offense. All of them are clicking so together, so like in unison. It's just so fun to watch. So anyways, complimentary football, all 3 phases. This was the team that this was our Costanza potential bet here with the Titans, and that did not age well because the Titans got absolutely boat raced by an absolutely just complete team in the Lions.
This has to be the widest gap in the history of the NFL, passing yards to points, right?
Yeah,
Probably.
I would have to imagine.
It was crazy. Yeah,
I think it was 86,
insane.
86 passing yards to 52 points. Like that, there's no way that's ever happened.
Yeah,
actually,
except for when Shipwreck Kelly was playing
before they were doing the forward pass a lot.
Yeah.
No, yeah, the whole game was. They had 49 points till they got to the 20-yard line. It was a really weird game. All right, yeah, Lions are winning the Super Bowl. All right, I Am Become Death Oppenheimer Award for the player who went nuclear. First of all, just tight ends. I mean, we mentioned tight ends. 175 catches, most catches by tight ends on National Tight End Day. We're not giving this shit any more airing, but yeah, the tight ends played really well.
I just say 4 of the best 10 tight end performances of the season happened today.
What?
That is nominative determinism.
And and next week it's going to be the least probably, right?
Yeah, it was Kelsey, Otten, Kyle Pitts, shouts out, and one more, maybe Brock Bowers.
Kelsey had his first touchdown of the year, which was a huge ick for me.
And I don't think it was Brock. I forget who it was, but yeah.
Cade Otten was the guy that I wanted to bring up in this category.
Oh, yeah, Cade, yeah.
With Godwin and Evans out this week, Otten is essentially the team's number 1 now. He over the last 2 weeks, he's caught 17 passes for 181 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's the tight end 1 over the last 2 weeks. That's probably bad for the Buccaneers overall because he's not a super dynamic player, but he's absolutely stepped up and is a must start every week until Evans gets back.
So continuing this tight end conversation, but moving on to our next category here of It's So Over and We're So Back. I actually think we have to, I think it is so over for our beloved category of 2 tight ends who outscored Kyle Pitts and a lie. I think that we have to end the category.
It's time to rename it.
Kyle Pitts had 4 catches for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Kyle Pitts had the second best tight end fantasy day of the year.
I think that it's over for 2 tight ends who outscored Kyle Pitts and a lie. Can we end this?
Our little guy's all grown up.
Yeah, he did.
For the record, we discussed maybe retiring this last week, and then today's performance was just put it over the top.
This is dude, look, when you love something, you have to let it go. It's just we're dropping him off of college, saying goodbye, leaving him in the dorm.
I will say
we're going to talk about Grant Calcaterra.
God. For the first time since I think maybe when he was at Florida, he had a play where I was like, oh, this is why he was a top 5 pick.
I agree with you. So I think I know what play you're talking about.
It was the play where he almost fumbled at the. He arguably did fumble before he went into the end zone, but they didn't call it.
Very nearly the second dumbest play of the day.
But he caught a little slant. He stiff arm. My favorite play in football. I've said this before on the pod. My favorite play in football is the reverse stiff arm, where you stiff arm a guy that's coming from behind and you just shove him to the ground. Larry Fitzgerald used to do this all the time. And he did that, and then he ran. He ran away from the defense. He looked awesome. He looked explosive. This is the dynamic, big time pass catcher. big play creator that I expected him to be, and certainly the Falcons expected him to be when they drafted him that high over Jamar Chase. So yeah, that was cool to see him like finally do that, even though technically he probably gloated early and almost fumbled into the end zone. But yeah, he looked really good in that play in particular, but just over the last couple of weeks, he's been really going off.
Craig, we're so back. It's so over.
Dude, the Browns, we're so back. The Browns are so back. They won, beat the Ravens 29-24 today. Jameis, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I was waiting for that.
Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, Cedric Tillman all had the most yards of the season. Deshaun Watson's never thrown for 300 yards with the Browns in his 19 games as a Brown. Jameis Winston and Joe Flacco have done that 6 out of 7 times.
That's fucking crazy.
Imagine if the Browns had been trying to win this whole season. How good they'd be.
Dude, their defense has been fine all year. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Jameis was still Jameis. He had like picks dropped. I mean, there was a horrible Kyle Hamilton pick that should have lost the game.
Should have been over there. Yeah.
Oh my God. That was,
It's the perfect Jameis experience. He throws a horrific pick that gets dropped and then a dime to Cedric Tillman.
So like essentially win the game. Yeah.
Another guy who's out of here just talking about God and everything and just like pure faith. And then like something like that happens. And I'm like, that's probably a better way to live.
Does it not feel like Jameis Winston is like memorizing lines for these interviews?
Dude, the speed, you mean this dude? I thought he was like memorizing lines too. And he's like giving this like, we're going to go into battle, all this stuff. And then he's like, represent the name on the back of your jersey. Represent the logo on your helmet. Oh, wait. We don't have decals on our helmets. Like, it's the Browns. Like, they don't have anything. I'm like, dude, I actually think there's no one else on earth quite like Jameis Winston.
He's a little too earnest for me. I don't really like all that.
It's beyond earnest. It's cryptic almost.
Did you also see how he had the Eat a W shirts on sale?
Huh. Should we get one?
Yeah. I will say it is really nice that he's opening up this offense and making, some players fantasy worthy or fantasy relevant, I should say, like Elijah Moore. Craig, weren't you in on Elijah Moore a couple weeks ago, or was that Heifetz?
I still have my shares. Haven't sold.
Yeah. I kind of sold, I'll be honest, but he looked pretty good out there today.
Cedric Tillman.
Cedric Tillman looks like a star.
He looks great.
Is this the next freaking Nico Collins?
Nico Collins, yeah. Just in that moment, it's not the show.
Like he barely played at all last year, and I was like, okay, he's just going to be another like random 3rd round pick who never does anything. But he looks really good. Jerry Jeudy still on the team, not really doing anything much, but yeah.
What are you talking? He had a good day today.
He had a fine day.
Anyone else?
What, he finished dead last?
Yeah.
No.
Anyone else so back, DK?
We're so back. Marvin Harrison is good again. Thank God. Marvin Harrison he looked really good today.
He did.
He had, let's see here, 6 catches, 111 yards and a touchdown. I counted like 3 or 4 really difficult catches. Like ones where you're like, he probably shouldn't have caught that. Like there was one where he had to like full on dive, full extension, brought the ball in. They initially, I think, called it incomplete, and then they reviewed it and it was like he caught it.
He burned Jalen Ramsey too. He looked like Maserati Marv. Like he looked fast again, and then he finished it with that crazy catch.
Yeah, and Josh Norris pointed this out on Twitter, but it seemed like they are kind of figuring out better ways to use him. Like early in the season, they're just like having him run the hardest routes, the lowest probability, the lowest like chance of completion routes in their offense, and now they're giving him like crossers, things that he can get a little run after the catch because he's good at that. He has some good speed, and he's playing faster. Like frankly, he played really slow early on in the season. I think he's just getting more comfortable and starting to get his confidence back. So I don't know, Marvin Harrison, he looked really good. He looked like a top 3 pick in this game. So that was cool to see.
Yep.
My other worst back, speaking of that Cardinals Dolphins game, is the Miami offense, which it would be a much better story if Miami won. They lost. Honestly, the Dolphins blew the game. They were up, I think they were up 23 or something. I mean, sorry, Carlos, but yeah, Miami totally blew it. The defense, they didn't have Bradley Chubb or Jalen Phillips or Zach Sealer or Javon Holland in this game. But the offense looked really good immediately. Tua came back and just DK texted us as Tua the actual MVP of the NFL.
I'll do it early on. I'll do it early in the show, but this is one of my intrusive thoughts from this game was like, is in the strictest interpretation of the award, is Tua like actually the MVP of the NFL? Like the offense is non-functional when he's not in there.
They are
Like,
literally last in yards per play and
worst,
points.
Yeah, the worst offense in the NFL by far, despite the fact they have despite the fact they have Tyreek, Achane, Waddle, Mostert. Tua unlocked all those guys today, like immediately. The way he gets the ball out so quickly, the way that he can pass over the middle of the field, throw with anticipation. I don't actually believe he's the MVP, but like if you're doing like a strict interpretation,
football war, yeah, wins above replacement.
Yeah.
It's just like everyone other than Tua is Deshaun Watson, basically.
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't know. I obviously they didn't win, but I had that thought. They were 11 of 15 on third down.
Devante Adams had 10 carries for almost 100 yards, and they had 6 catches for 50 yards. And then Mostert also had a couple touchdowns. So I mean, they were both like top 12 running backs today or so. So yeah, it's exactly what you wanted in the Miami offense.
Like their offense straight up just doesn't work without Tua.
And he slid. Tua slid.
The crowd, that was the highest the crowd, or the loudest the crowd cheered in the entire game was when he slid.
They were like
standing up.
They were like encouraging him essentially to slide. Mm-hmm. This is the apex mountain for crowds influencing what players do.
well, Tyreek Stevenson.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying today.
Oh, today.
Oh, yeah.
Today it was like 2
Dude,
plays.
the last 2
like
weeks, Craig, the last 2 weeks, crowds have been like the MVP, like with the
Georgia game.
Yeah, the people throwing really shit on the field or whatever.
This year, apex mountain for crowd participation.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. All right. We have to get a little more serious here.
Okay.
It's time for Farter Shart.
Craig. Daniel.
Oh, God. Why is it always me?
Yeah.
Daniel. Through 2 games, Devante Adams is now averaging less targets, less catches, and less yards with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets than with his 3 games on the Raiders earlier this year. Today, he had 7 fantasy points. After 2 games with the Jets, is this a fart in the wind or a shart in the shorts?
It's a fart in the wind, I think.
Okay. Buying low on the Jets.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm like buying it necessarily, but he was matched up. I need to look at like the stats because he was probably matched up with what's his name? Christian
Gonzalez. I think he was moving around. I think they were saying.
Okay, so that's probably not the only reason he had a slow day.
Christian Gonzalez also got rocked by Brian Thomas 1 week ago.
Also, last week Devante Adams sucked. Also.
Yeah. All those are all salient points you make.
Okay, he's like, it's starting to smell pretty bad in here. Maybe it is a shart.
But how about it's not a fart in the wind, but it's a fart in it's like an elevator fart. It smells like shit, and you're like, okay, there's no air in here.
Waiting on these doors.
So you really feel
like the Jets.
So you feel like this is a buy low opportunity for Devante?
No, I don't know. I don't necessarily encourage you to buy any of the Jets' offensive players. However, I don't think that this is going to be the story. It's not going to be the story all year. It's not a shart.
Okay. All right, fine.
Devante Adams is too good, and I think it's just a matter of time before they start to link up.
Okay.
All right, next category here. The John Gruden Got Me Feeling NICEY Award, which, you guys ready?
Sean Tucker, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who is this guy? Over 100 yards, 9.7 yards a carry. Ric Flair would love you. Wow! Ho!
He times the ho so well.
Bo Nix, 28 of 37, 284 yards. I couldn't do that in pregame warmups.
Dude, Bo Nix looked good today, man. He looked
It's
really
the
good.
Panthers. Can we throw it out?
It's the Panthers, but also, maybe it's just going to be really good for his confidence. Maybe they're going to start to get a little momentum here. But yeah, it was the Panthers, but he looked really good. He made some incredible throws, scored a rushing touchdown. He had 4 total touchdowns. Where is he on the year? Remember my take purge where he's going to end up as the number 1, he's a top 12 quarterback. Right now, he's the QB. He's the QB 13 in points.
He was
per
the
game
number
after
2
today.
quarterback today, literally only other than Jalen Hurts. Yeah, he was incredible.
Got to say, it started out slow. Didn't feel great about that take early in the season, but he runs even more than I was expecting. So that's a big thing.
I think Bo Nix in fantasy kind of need to start playing. In real life, I still think the Broncos are total frauds, and that I still think even though they're 5-3, they finish under 500 as a team. But Bo Nix running is legit. But also the Panthers, like all the Broncos wins have massive. They're the bad good team. That's what Denver is. All their wins are kind of fake. They're kind of like Dallas.
Doesn't that mean they're the good? I've never. Is it good bad or bad good that makes more
I
sense?
think that what's the Bill thing? So Bill's the good bad team is the bad team that plays like Cardinals were the good bad team last year. Where the
right,
Cardinals
because they
won
play
2
up
games,
to their
but-
competition.
Yeah, the bad good team is the team that you think is good, but actually sucks because they just beat up on bad teams. Like how the Cowboys have only beaten like Justin Fields with the Steelers and Daniel Jones with the Giants, and terrible quarterbacks. Anyway,
Dude, the Broncos are 5-3.
dude,
I know.
They're the good bad dude. Again, all their wins are kind of fake. Craig,
You know who's got me kind of feeling? You know who's got me feeling nicey? Lad McConkey. 6 targets, 6 catches, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. Honestly, though, like last 4 weeks, Lad's kind of coming on. For those of you who don't remember, in August, when I gave my sleepers, not only was it Josh Palmer, I added Lad. It was Josh and Lad and Josh, and I decided to and I stuck with Josh. Admittedly, I leaned a bit more on Josh. However, Lad is playing. Lad just looks good. This is like the connection. He's like the reliable third down guy here. And Palmer had a decent day today, 72 yards. But yeah, I mean, as Quentin Johnston's been hurt, Lad looks good. A lot of these rookie guys are starting to come around. We're getting close to the second half of the season. Lad will probably be a lot better in the second half than he was in the first half of the season. Herbert's throwing a little more.
Lad McConkey is averaging almost exactly the same amount of points per game as Jameson Williams and Rashid Shaheed. And by the way, slightly more than Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, Lad's been good.
He's the wide receiver 27 right now. The play today that he made where he caught the ball and ran after the catch and like basically ran away from the defense on like a deep crosser was to the quintessential, like how I pictured Lad McConkey from college. Like he was so good at catching a pass and just instant acceleration, running away from defenders and creating after the catch. So that was really cool. And yeah, he's definitely coming on and obviously has earned Justin Herbert's trust and the team's trust.
All right. Intrusive thoughts. Again, just things, you think about DK. You mentioned that earlier you had the 2 MVP thought. That's intrusive. I alluded to this earlier. My intrusive thought was I think Roger Goodell personally pitched National Tight Ends Day, and that's why no one has the juice to just be like, cancel
why are we
this
doing
thing.
This? Yeah.
I think it was like Goodell's son or something. That's my intrusive thought. That's
it
the
was
only
like
way
it was his Christmas gift to like his nephew in 2018.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
Craig, what's your intrusive thought?
Sometimes I don't think Caleb Williams is going to be good. Again, this is a safe space, but he had like 4 completions for most of the game today.
He had 38 yards at some point in the fourth quarter passing.
And it's not like they're playing the Vikings today. You know what I mean? Like, there are much like Anthony Richardson. I'm not comparing them, but like there are moments where he looks awesome, but there are some moments where I'm like, I don't know. I could see it being year 3 and he's kind of doing the same shit. That's all.
Yeah. I think that I think I don't have that feeling either, or I don't have that feeling, but yeah, there was times where he was like really, really playing poorly. It's hard for me to separate because I think Shane Waldron, like the number of just
he's a fucking goon. The offensive line is terrible. I know he's not
plays.
Yeah, I know.
Caleb Williams was pressured. I saw the stat like 52% of his dropbacks today. Like he was, and it was the fastest time to pressure, I think, of any quarterback this season on average. Like he was getting under pressure like almost immediately every play. So I know that sounds like I'm making excuses for him. He was playing poorly. I will admit that, but there was like these mitigating circumstances, especially like Shane Waldron.
It's like Caleb is DK's son.
Well, yeah, and I don't want it to be that way because I want to like go into this and like be unbiased throughout the rest of his career. But like, I don't know, the way he played in the fourth quarter, especially, and put them in a position to win.
Yeah, he was great.
I felt like, okay, I'm not going to be too hard on him for this game because he made some incredible plays late in the game. Shane Waldron, come on, man. What are we doing here? Should we talk about that right now? Worst plays? Sorry, the Arthur Smith Award for the coach that pissed you off the most?
Sure.
Let's just skip to it because Shane Waldron absolutely has outdone himself. Do you remember that play?
Describe the offensive lineman run.
Do you remember? Yeah. Do you remember the play? I think it was like in week 1 or 2 where they ran on 4th and 2 from the 2-yard line, a speed option that lost like 7 yards. Now no one's going to remember that. That's the good news for Shane Waldron. The bad news is this is probably worse. 6:21 to go, 3rd and 1 from the 1 yard line. They were trailing 12-7. They couldn't get shit going on offense at all the entire game. And they decided to dial up a fullback dive to a backup offensive lineman. Just give it to your running backs, man. The guys that have experience carrying the football, receiving handoffs. And of course, the offensive lineman threw it. He basically, I've mentioned this before. When you're just walking along and then you start to juggle your phone and then you accidentally kick it and it goes 40 feet.
I did that today. I almost texted you.
So did Josh Allen. Josh Allen did that too in the football.
Walking to the bathroom, I threw my phone at the wall.
You end up literally just batting your phone at 50 miles an hour and it shatters. That's essentially what he did with the football, this backup offensive lineman. I don't even remember his name. It doesn't matter. Just give the ball to a fucking running back, man. Sheil Kapadia posted this right after it, and I think this is such a great take. He goes, "Every team needs one. Hell no, we're not doing that, coach." On its staff, get the veto power on one dumb idea every week. Because remember, if this play is in on the playbook or whatever, they've practiced this before. Somebody has to step in and say, "Look, man, can we just maybe give it to a guy who's used to carrying the football and receiving handoffs?" And this is the majority of what he does in his life is take handoffs and run.
Right. Yeah. It's Big Dom is physical security. We need a Big Dom for play calling where it's no, we're not doing that. We're just not doing that.
Yeah.
Get back guy. Get back guy.
God.
The get back guy needs to be expanded. Also, how much money do you think that offensive lineman who fumbled the ball should pay Tyreek Stevenson as a thank you for no one remembering this?
Truly.
He owes him thousands of dollars.
God, that was frustrating.
The other coaches that just, again, I mentioned the Jets not having, it's really Aaron Rodgers' fault, but having no timeouts in the first quarter. I've never seen it.
Yeah. Also,
really
shout
Rodgers.
out the Broncos ran a fake field goal with up 21 in the 4th. And you know what? I feel like everybody online was getting mad at Sean Payton. When the Lions do it, it's cool. But when the Broncos do it, it's lame.
I'm sorry. I think the lamest thing in all of sports, and I hope I've never done this. I'm going to make sure I've never done this probably, is when people complain about running up the score.
Dude, I
think it's the worst.
Agree.
If I've ever had the opposite of that take, I apologize, and that person wasn't me, and I rescind that take. I think it's the lamest thing to complain about another team running up the sport. This is the NFL. This is pro football. This isn't Alabama versus Dayton or whatever. These teams are getting paid a lot of money to be professional football teams. There's no such thing as running up the score. Every team should try and run up the score every single game. That's my take. It should be a point of pride to run up the score as much as humanly possible every single game.
Should I become a Sean Payton guy? I'm kind of debating it.
I'm
really did last week we were talking about how he's a fraud.
Yeah, I think it might be kind of a cool move.
They played the Panthers.
I know, but I just think it's it'd be cool if I was into Sean Payton.
I think you're buying the peak.
No, but not even that. Just it's funny. I should just be a fan of his.
Yeah, just do the Rob. Just do
he said Bo Nix is going to be he reminds him of Patrick Mahomes. It might be fun to just support Sean Payton and kind of ride that ride.
All right, next up, play of the day. It's play of the year is the Jayden Daniels Hail Mary. Yep. Noah's Ark. That's the play of the year.
I don't know. I don't know about that name.
You Noah's Ark? The only other one I want to shout out is just Bradley Bozeman kicking the shit out of the Saints lineman who was trying to break Justin Herbert's leg.
That play stirred something deep inside me. That was a primal moment.
Yeah,
if you didn't see it,
The guy did an old school gator roll on Justin Herbert's leg. He had thrown the ball, and then a guy grabbed his leg, and then literally tried to grab and twist it like he was trying to shred his knee from the base.
Right.
And
it was a Bush League play, and then Bozeman saw it and
the center
came in like a bat out of hell.
It was fucking death from above. He came down on him, and then he was giving him forearm shivers to the neck. It was it was
so like badass. A UFC finish. Yeah, it was like finishing a UFC fight. Yeah, Bradley Bozeman.
It stirred something inside me.
Fired me up so much.
Yeah, that was badass.
Worst play of the day. I have a question. Can we rename this the Tyreek Stevenson worst play of the day?
Sure.
Yeah,
I think
probably.
we should rename it.
I think we should.
The only thing this is obviously Tyreek Stevenson's the winner. I do want to just shout out all the Ravens drops between Kyle Hamilton dropping the ball in his hands and they would have won the game. And then Jameis literally wins the game on the next play. And also the ultimate ick. Rashad Bateman, Lamar Jackson rolling right, launching left, a ball that probably traveled 35 or 40 yards in the air, hit Rashad Bateman in the fucking face, and he lost it in the sun. It bounced off his head.
That was not a good look.
That's the worst place
was not a good
it
look.
could hit.
And also, I just want to shout out Connor Williams, the Seahawks center, who not only did he at the 1 yard line in the first drive, snapped the ball 30 yards over Geno Smith's head like yakety sacks. But then on the next drive, then when they got back to the one, stepped on Geno Smith's foot on 4th and 1, that had him take a sack.
Yeah, that was really rough. Not a lot of things went well for the Seahawks today. I was going to have them as one of my losers, but let's be honest, I think they are just frauds at this point, right? What I kind of got excited about them last week after they beat the Falcons, but yeah, not so much anymore.
I think they need DK Metcalf a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of like the T. Higgins thing.
My worst play of the day is, did you guys see that the Miami Heat unveiled the Dwyane Wade statue outside of the arena?
What the fuck was with this thing?
This is like the Ronaldo Cristiano thing all over again.
The
What
hit
happened?
rate, I think we need something else maybe other than statues. The hit rate on statues is really low.
How
It's just hard. It's hard to recreate a human person.
There's
How
not a lot
is
of
it
fucking,
hard?
like Michelangelo's walking around.
we have AI? Like, how is it hard? Like,
It clearly is. I don't know. It's clearly
can
hard. I
make-
mean,
Why don't they make them out of plastic so they're not messed up? You know,
they could do like a wax thing.
Get
you
like a
know?
3D printer.
How is it? The metal is not the problem. What I don't understand is we literally have photos. We have 3D rendering. Like, there are no many fucking photos that are of Dwyane Wade. Millions. Like, how the fuck?
It looks like Dwyane. It looks like they made a statue of Dwyane Wade when he's like 80.
Wait,
It
I'm gonna
looks like
retweet this.
Thanos.
I'm gonna
Dude.
retweet
It
this.
looks like Thanos and Ed Harris as a statue.
It does. Wait, if you're listen to this, I'm gonna retweet
Look
this.
like Ed Harris. Oh my god!
Someone put the statue photo on that photo of LeBron doing the dunk with Dwyane Wade running by, and they put the statue's face on Dwyane Wade's face, and it looks so good.
That doesn't look even remotely like Dwyane Wade.
It's not even
It's
close.
so funny.
I don't know. Like maybe get the Madame Tussauds people to like just make wax figurines because that would look good. I don't
Do
know.
you think it's possibly related to the Miami Heat having the same judgment of the team that decided to name their fucking arena FTX Arena? Do you think that could possibly be related?
they hired Pat Riley's son to make the statue? I don't.
Yeah. This is Sam.
Oh,
Yes,
this
Sam
is so good.
Bankman-Fried made the statue.
It's bad. And Wade was looking at it. You could tell he was like, "You think he really had never seen it? Did they give him approval?"
We were on with Austin earlier, and Austin was like, "We had statues down like a couple thousand years ago. We had this.
This is
I know.
not a new art medium.
We have regressed.
It's actually like the oldest art medium.
Right.
It's the first."
That's because we don't spend time on anything anymore. It used to take them 30 years to make a statue. Now they crank it out in 2 weeks and it looks like shit.
Austin just tweet? He just sent a tweet. Dwyane Wade said, "Who is this guy?" when he looked at the statue.
No,
Who's that
that's a
guy?
joke, right? That's not. That's
It's
a
got to
bit.
be real. Everything on the internet is real.
That's not real. Wait, we have to find out.
I'm not
Do you,
sure.
do you guys think he had never seen it?
I think so because they wouldn't have done this if he had seen it. Don't you think?
Well, or is it for the show of it? You have to unveil it. You invite
Austin
people.
says he really did say it.
Wait,
Who's
he
that
does
guy?
say it? He says, "Who is that guy?" No fucking way.
Oh my god!
Who is that guy? He says, "Who is that guy?"
Dwyane Wade's had a tough go. Do you guys remember? I could be super wrong about who it was. I think it was like the mayor of. Was it the mayor of Miami? There was some woman announcing Dwyane Wade at a Miami Heat game, and she called him
yeah.
Wade Jones.
He's calm, collected, has a will to win because his name, of course, is Wade Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Wade
You brought this up
Jones.
before.
It's the funniest video of all time. She goes, "His name, of course, Wade Jones." And Dwyane Wade just goes, "Who that is?" The funniest shit I've ever seen.
The second time in his career he's had to say who that is. He's like, I was a really good player. Why can't people remember what I look like or what my name is?
The just like the pure confidence in the woman to just add the flair of course. She didn't have to do that.
Of course.
His name, of course. It's just it's so good.
Oh my god! If you have any doubt, don't say of course.
But that's the thing. She didn't have any doubt. That's what makes it so good.
I think
Wade Jones.
The second time in his career, they're honoring him, and he had to say, "Who is that?"
That's Wade Jones. The statues of Wade Jones.
Guy just texted us. It's like when John Travolta called her Adina Menzel, Adele Dazeem.
And he goes, the wickedly talented Adele Dazeem.
Oh my God.
You can't stop adding flares. Stop improvising. The wickedly talented Adele Dazeem.
Adele Dazeem. Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com for other flubs like that. Other
Wade Jones and Adele Dazeem. What's worse? I don't know.
Wickedly talented.
The wickedly talented.
I might add that in the new intros. I might instead have I'm joined by the wickedly talented Candy Deli and Clark Hogback.
His name, of course.
Of course. All right, moving on.
I'm losing it.
Oh, who was that woman? I forget. I gotta find it.
Who was that?
I'm crying.
I don't know.
I feel like I'm crying. This is the closest emotion to crying.
Who was it? Kai, can we play? Kai, wait, can we play that?
We gotta find that.
We gotta find this.
Craig, send it.
Oh, I got it.
I found it. I don't know who this woman is, though. I found the video, though. I'll send it. Do you know who the woman is? I don't know if anybody knows.
All the players look up when she says Wade Jones.
She says he's calm, collected, has a will to win.
Shaq. It's at the parade. It's at the they're wearing champion shirts. Shaq is there.
Dwyane Wade turns around when she says it. He looks back up at the stands, looking for Wade.
Oh my God.
It's good. You can't beat that. You can't write that.
Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. All right.
They're all looking in the crowd. Like, who are you announcing? Oh my God.
Do we just finish? Do we just end the show?
No, wait. Let's at least do Lucille Bluth. I gotta say, the stat line that I won't respond to. Nick Westbrook-Akine has 3 touchdowns in the last 3 games. I just got to put that out there. Only him and Amon-Ra St. Brown have done that. So
DK tried to shout Nick Westbrook-Akine out on the Friday show, and I took that as a thing, as a sign that we had spent too much time on the Titans.
He has 4 catches and 3 touchdowns the last 3 games.
My Lucille Bluth, I don't understand the stat line and won't respond to it, is as Austin Gale keeps banging at the table about the Raiders have the worst rushing offense in the 21st century. Like they're literally the worst by EPA per play. And I also think yards per carry, they're really low too, but they're straight up the worst rushing offense in the NFL.
We have a lot of
the 21st century.
There's a lot of worsts of the century this year. You know, it's like Anthony Richardson's completion percentage, Deshaun Watson, the Raiders rushing.
Everything is hyperbole now.
Well, the real answer is because we're using a lot more True Media, and True Media is amazing, but True Media goes back to 2000. And so it's like a really nice, pithy way to say like since 2000. It probably goes back further, but we don't have it since then. So branding.
Everything's so extreme these days, though. You're right, Craig. It's either the best or the worst.
Ain't that the truth?
Worst referee moment, other than just the Kyle Pitts fumble being left as a touchdown because they don't have pylon cameras. Which why the fuck don't they just?
What the hell is that?
How were they saving money and not having pylon cams? How you have a TV truck at every place? Have a fucking pylon cam. How hard is that? Don't get that. But also the Thursday Night Football, the Sam Darnold face mask. I know that was like a few days ago, but the Vikings-Rams game ending because Darnold was face masked and the rest were like, oh, didn't see that. That was pretty tough.
I know. Isn't there does the what's it called? Like the replay assist? Can they not do that for penalties?
I'm not going to lie. I don't understand how replay assist didn't step in there. I feel like that's the entire concept of what they were going for. And ironically, because it was a safety that was a scoring play.
Yeah, dude. And speaking of replay assist, did we not all watch the game end in the Colts game and then they just added a second? What happened
What the
there?
fuck was that?
Everybody was like, no, the clock definitely ran out.
Yeah.
It did.
That was really weird.
And then it was quite apparent on replay.
Yep. And the announcers,
and like, nope, put 1 second on the clock.
You could kind of feel the announcers were like, I don't know if he got that off, John. And then when the refs put the second back on, they kind of just let it go and moved on. Like Goodell got on the line. He's like, shut the fuck up.
And then they were going to try to Hail Mary it.
Yeah.
They rigged it. They were going to have the Hail Mary, and then Anthony Richardson screwed it up. That's why they had to let Jayden Daniels do it, All right.
Weird day in the NFL.
Weird day. 2 tight ends who outscored Kyle Pitts in a lie, RIP to this category. If
there
you have any
were literally
suggestions,
not 2. There weren't even 2.
Wow.
There was
email
only
us
one.
at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com if you have a suggestion for a future player that should be the new. Oh, you have one?
Like, who's the most disappointing player now?
I think we need to find a new Kyle Pitts. We need to adopt a new Kyle Pitts. We should think about it. We can give out our burn books for the week. Maybe it can be that guy. There is a guy who I think is kind of fitting the mold. Heifetz, maybe you see where I'm going here. 2 out of the 3 of us hate this player.
Oh, no. I know where this is going.
And they're a nominee for the burn book for me. I think I would love 2 wide receivers who outscored Jalen Waddle in a lie.
Craig, you weren't even here. When we hopped on the call to start the show, Austin Gale was absolutely ranting about Jalen Waddle. He was fired up. So it's actually like in the background of the show, we got people that hate Jalen Waddle too.
I don't know. I don't know what else we're supposed to do as fantasy managers. He had 45 yards today. What are we supposed to do? We were waiting all year for this. And look what happened. They get the ball to everybody else. He's an afterthought. I hate the man now. I really do. He's driving me mad because every week the projection says 12.5 and then he gets 4.
Have you ever seen the movie Saving Silverman?
No.
Oh, there's a line where I'm not going to explain it too much, but he goes, basically, he's like, our fun level never was really that high, but now 2. And it's like Craig's just like, he's losing it.
Who do you nominate?
Is Waddle the player who has the farthest delta or the largest delta between like his name's Jalen Waddle. I should probably put him in my lineup, but I can't because
he sucks.
He sucks or whatever.
No,
he's like the hardest player. When I don't start him, I'm like, I feel like I'm galaxy branding this or something for some reason, but like, yeah, he's completely unreliable.
He's the most He's replaced Pitts as the most talented player who's unplayable, and I don't like watching.
He's the fastest guy in the league who never has big plays.
Yeah, it's that too. The only other guy in this category with Burn Book and the Kyle Pitts thing is a daily double.
Ooh,
found it,
and this is from a lot of people. But bang,
a lot of people.
Kyle. Was that what I think it was?
He's doing an Austin Powers show.
A lot of vagina.
Yeah.
Somehow a lot of vagina is like less graphic than pussy galore.
Jesus.
It's the name of a character in a movie, in a serious movie, or at least somewhat serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tongue in cheek.
Right. I mean, Austin Powers making fun of those movies, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's other Austin Powers names that I think are worse.
Kyle's suggestion for Burn Book, and also could be the Kyle Pitts Award, is just straight up Anthony Richardson.
I had him as well. He was nominated for me. He's had more than 12 points once this year.
He was outscored by Bryce Young today.
Dude.
Ooh, that's tough.
And Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
And Drake May, who played like he had threw 6 passes.
No, that can't be right. He was
Drake May had 11.52. Anthony Richardson
really?
11.5. Drake May completed 3 passes today.
Because Drake May ran a touchdown.
Yeah.
Dude,
I think with the Anthony Richardson thing, we should just reconvene next year and see how he's doing.
Take a hiatus.
Just take a break.
I'm just not going to think about him for a while.
We just time out.
I'll check back next year. See what's going on.
I actually think he shouldn't play next week. I think it'll be bad for his career. If they play him against Minnesota, just play Flacco.
All right, wait. So are we burning Richardson or Waddle?
Well, I thought we were changing the 2 tight ends who outscored Kyle Pitts.
All right, fine. So that one's now Waddle, but are we burning him? Or I think we have to burn him.
He has to be
2
burned
tight ends who outscored Jalen Waddle in a lie.
Yeah.
But then he has to be, you can't have that category.
We're burning
named
Jalen
after
Waddle.
you. Yeah.
And we're naming it's two tight ends. It's two receivers who outscored Jalen Waddle in a lie. All right.
And I hope this galvanizes him. I hope this kicks him into shape because I can't live like this anymore. I'm fucking trapped.
I can't live like this anymore.
No, I cannot.
Do we want it? Let's do it. Should we do a quick 2 receivers and a lie for Jalen Waddle today?
Sure.
There's going to be a lot of them.
All right. Let's see here. Number 1, Raheem Jarrett.
Right. On the Bucks.
Number 2, Trent Sherfield.
Okay.
Number 3, DJ Turner.
No fucking way DJ Turner outscored Jalen Waddle.
Number 4, Xavier Gibson.
Fuck. I saw him score a touchdown.
Number 5, Nelson Aguilar. Unlike Aguilar.
Aguilar always just quietly has a 50-yard catch every game.
He does. He's weirdly good.
Number 6, Josh Palmer.
Yeah, he definitely I bet he outscored him for sure. Palmer,
Yeah, you're right. All
today.
those guys outscored him.
Yeah, what a fucking
Raheem Jarrett? What are we doing here?
Full disclosure, didn't know who he was when the season
I
started.
thought Raheem Jarrett was strictly special teams.
Christian Kirk broke his collarbone and outscored Jalen Waddle.
That was brutal because he was going to get traded.
Yeah,
I know. That sucks.
All right. Yeah. Jalen Waddle, you're in the burn book. And also you're a new category. Congratulations to Jalen Waddle. All right. That's all we got. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Kai, for producing this episode. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, everyone, for help behind the scenes. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Email us at ringoffantasyfootball@gmail.com. Send us fantasy courts. Got a little special fantasy court action going on this week. Send us emails. Send us emails on other, Adeem Denzel and the wickedly talented. And also, of course, Wade Jones. Thank you to Wade Jones. And email us at ringoffantasyfootball@gmail.com. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Tom Jones, of course.
She's a lady. Oh. My grandma loved Tom Jones.
Really?
Nice.
I just
Yeah.
know him as the Fresh Prince bit. I don't really know anything else about him.
What's the Fresh Prince bit? Ooh, that's a tongue
Carlton
twister.
dance.
French press.
Is that a Tom Jones thing?
I think
What?
so.
What's a Tom Jones
the
thing?
Carlton dance? Is it to a Tom Jones song?
Yeah, it's not unusual.
It's not unusual
shit, you're right.
to be loved.
It's
by
the entirety of
anyone.
how I know Tom Jones. Or at least how I was introduced to Tom Jones.
Dude, if you watch old videos of Tom Jones, it is like the most 70s thing in the 80s thing in the world. He's got the biggest collar. It's just real old school, could not exist today. The girls are going crazy for him. He's 40, fake tan. He's got his big hair and he's just winking at women as he sings. It's crazy.
Gigantic cross necklace.
Yeah.
Sexy.
Yeah. Tom Jones. I bet you he had a wild life. He's still alive, but I bet you he has had a wild life.
I bet you he had a wild life. I mean, he's still alive.
He's lived 10 lives.
Dude, he's OBE.
Yeah.
Sir Tom Jones, OBE.
He's Welsh, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Shouts out Tommy J. That guy was a real vibe back in the day.
Tommy J. It's a credit to him that he became so famous when his name was Tom Jones.
I know.
Yeah, you got to be really good.
Oh, wow. That's not even his real name. His real name is Tom Woodward.
Sir Thomas Jones Woodward.
Why did he come into your head? Do you like Tom Jones? You listen to Tom Jones?
Because you said Wade Jones.
His name?
Of course.
Of course.
It is Wade Jones.
His name, of course, is Tom Woodward.
Dude, should I go as Tom Jones for Halloween? This guy's a vibe.
He had a song called "What's New, Pussycat."
Yeah, what's new, Pussycat?
That's the John Mulaney bit.
Whoa.
The John Mulaney bit. He played that 11 times in a row at a diner in a jukebox.
Dude, no one's doing it like Tommy J.
His voice has been described by AllMusic as a full-throated, robust baritone.
Yeah.
Damn. God damn.
You will vibrate.
Full-throated.
I'm just thinking of that lady introducing Dwyane Wade as Wade Jones again.
Nothing better.
All right, goodbye, everyone.